Shalom. Due to the difficult events in Gush Katif, the Jewish communities of the Gaza Strip, and in northern Samaria, we decided this week to pay tribute to the courageous residents by looking back at previous Israeli salad features from Gush Katif and northern Samaria. May God strengthen them and keep them safe. I'm here in Gush Katif, which is located in the Gaza Strip. Now, Gush Katif has its hard days. There are many security problems here. It's not easy to be here in Gush Katif, but it's amazing and it's a beautiful place to be. And here we are today to celebrate the Jewish music here in Gush Katif. As you could see, the sun is coming down. There are people coming in here all the time. So let's speak until things start with some of these visitors and some of the performers.
It's going to be a lot of simcha in Gush Katif tonight. Only simcha. Lots of hopefully great music.
There's a lot of people here, and Shlomo Gronich is here. It's great. And Adiran and all these stuff. Arutz Sheva too. And it's going to be cool.
Well, we're going to do our original songs, and we're going to do a couple of songs from Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, and then we have the honor of doing a full set with Shlomo Gronich, who's one of the greats in Israeli music.
I'm not trying to say nothing by coming here. I'm coming for the joy of music, for the purpose of getting together with good musician friends, and collaboration with them is really joy and dialogue through the hearts, and it makes me happy.
The feeling being here is incredible. All the gush is just incredible. The sea and the sand is just. I can never think of a possibility that we're going to give it all back.
When you see all the people waiting on the grass, you can't be afraid. We came to be uplifted and to bring happiness. Except for the show, we have stands with arts and crafts made mostly by Gush Katif residents.
זה חלק ממסע של הופעות, לעשות הופעה בכל מקום שהיה פיגוע או מקומות ש...
This is part of a special tour, performing in places hit by terror attacks, to show that no one can stop the happiness of the people of Israel.
את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק.
This tune cannot be stopped. We must continue playing and singing. I believe and I am sure that you will always continue to be happy. Have a wonderful evening. Okay, it's getting dark. It's time to start the festival.
דברים שנראים בתקשורת ששמים את המצלמה על איזה דבר אחד ספציפי.
In the media, where they focus on one thing, you can't see the whole picture. The truth is that this is a beautiful place. people feel safe, and this is the land of Israel, and it is a mitzvah to perform here and to live here.
We live here for everyone in Israel and together with Israel, beyahad.
Last year, a 9-year-old girl came over to me and handed me a note after the show. And it said, "Last night I was lying under my bed afraid, listening to the bullets flying over my house in Neve Dekalim. And tonight, your band brought me out to be Misamech." So there's nothing else to say.
So from Gush Katif and the Gaza Strip, that's all for now. And I'll sum it up by saying, wow. We'll be back in the studio right after this. The Jewish communities of northern Samaria have been going through very difficult times during the past 3 years as a result of the Arab terror. There have been a number of families who have left their homes in the Shomron as a result of this difficult security situation. A solidarity visit of rabbis to the northern Samarian towns took place earlier this week. The rabbis came to strengthen and support the new groups of the young religious couples who have moved into the settlements. These couples are part of an initiative to strengthen the Samarian Jewish communities. This campaign has been active for more than a year. The integration of the members of these groups with the long-time residents has been very successful, in spite of the fact that in many of the cases, the older residents are not religious, while these newer ones are. Shlomo Blas joined this solidarity visit and spoke to some of the participants.
There are very few Jews here, and we are supposed to bring here many young families that are going to live here, to learn here, to work here. And this is going to rebuild those places.
It was a little strange in the beginning because we didn't know what is going to be. But later we found out that the people here are very nice.
We feel alive. More people came to live here. The place is much more vivid. This makes me feel very, very good.
We are here to strengthen the residents of the towns, to be with them. And with the help of God, we hope to bring more people to live here.
We want this place to be full of Jewish people.
This really makes sure that all those places are going to be in our hands.
Even from difficulties, good things can emerge. Each difficulty should be seen as a challenge.
You know, Arutz Israel was a desert, and people came here and suffered and believed that we are supposed to build Arutz Israel.
My decision after my husband was killed was that this is my home and my land and I'll never leave it.
And we have seen here people who are not religious, they express themselves that they want to have here many religious youngsters because they really feel why we should be here and why we should sacrifice here, and the future is definitely going to be ours.
On the Shabbat of Parashat Vayishlach, Yudchet Kislev, the annual Nitzarim Shabbat takes place. Hundreds of Jews from throughout the country arrive to strengthen the Jewish town that has heard throughout the years, and especially in the past few days, many threats of evacuation. Gabi Newman visited the residents of Nitzarim who are preparing their town for the expected guests.
For me it was no doubt a special experience, traveling in a bulletproof vehicle for a short distance of only a few kilometers. A short distance, but considered one of the most dangerous ones in Israel. Nearly every day the convoys on the way to Netzarim come under gunfire or anti-tank missiles. In fact, I did not even tell my wife where I was about to go. However, when I reached Netzarim, I hardly felt any of the tension which people assume goes with the area. On the contrary, this community seemed to be quiet and peaceful. The kindergarten children were playing in the park. Not far from there, young teenagers were playing football. The atmosphere in the army base located inside the community was similar.
As strange as it may sound, inside the community it's very peaceful. I think beyond us is where it is more violent. But inside it's a wonderful community to live in. The children run free, they play, there are playgrounds. And I think the children of Netzarim have a very special opportunity and a very special merit to be living here. Our children have the special opportunity of living their ideologies. It's not just an ideology that's written in books and we learn about the that the Jewish people have to settle all parts of Israel, even though it's difficult. They live it. They live that ideology, and that's a tremendous gain for them.
Netzarim is surrounded from all directions by the large Arab city of Gaza, with a population of more than 1 million Arabs. Large IDF units are fully devoted to protecting the 60 families living here.
I think the uniqueness of living in Netzarim is that everything is pinpointed, everything is emphasized here. Netzarim is very similar to the state of Israel in general. The state of Israel is a small enclave surrounded by hostile Arab nations, and so too Netzarim is a small Jewish enclave surrounded by hostile Arab Palestinian people that don't want us here. And we very much feel the entire struggle of the whole people of Israel and the entire state of Israel is very much felt every day here in Netzarim.
Opposite the one remaining structure of the famous Azahara buildings, which overlooked the community, stands an IDF tank on constant guard. The tank's presence ensures that this building will not once again be used to launch attacks on the Netzarim residents. Tami rejects claims that the community very existence provokes the Arab neighborhood.
The same way I would respond to the fact that the entire state of Israel is a provocation surrounded by big Arab nations. I think that just like we wouldn't think of leaving the state of Israel and going back to being in the diaspora, so too I wouldn't think of leaving Netzarim. Just like I wouldn't think of leaving Haifa or Tel Aviv after a suicide bombing, I wouldn't think of leaving here. The Jews have the right to live here. The UN agrees to that right. We have a right to be here. Besides the fact that I don't need the UN, the Torah and the Bible gives us the moral right and obligation to live here, and I don't think it's a provocation.
How will you fight against a potential decision of the government to evacuate this community?
The main way I'd fight it is by being strong in my ideology. The stronger we are in our belief that we have the moral right and obligation to live here, I don't believe that any of the agreements and things will take place at all. Being a member of the longest living nation in the world that has a very long past and a beautiful grandeur future ahead of us, we've been through a lot, we've lived through a lot of suffering, and we're going to go through this as well.
When you see the children from the Jewish town of Kfar Darom planting new trees in their town, the last thing that seems possible is that these residents will be forcefully transferred from their homes. I joined more than 1,000 people from all over the country who came to celebrate the festival of Tu B'Shvat in Gush Katif. Gush Katif is the main region of Jewish communities in the Gaza Strip. In Gush Katif there are new towns populated by young couples beside veteran towns, where there are families with children and grandchildren all living in Gush Katif.
We are here to show that we love Eretz Yisrael and we love Gush Katif, and we're never going to leave it. It's ours forever.
We came just to plant some trees, but I'm having a really great time. It's mamash fun here.
Just beauty. A lot of cherry tomatoes, a lot of plants all over.
If there's any place to describe heaven, it's over here. How many people do you know that pay nothing on rent and they live so close to the beach? You could see the beach from their house. Anytime in the summer you want to go for a good swim after a hard day of work, it's here. You've got a great environment. As you can see, everything here is green. What else can a person ask for?
The local residents of Gush Katif took us on a tour through the different communities in the area. We visited a few greenhouses and even tasted a few cherry tomatoes. In Neve Kalim, the capital of Gush Katif, the central Tu B'Shvat event was taking place. In addition to experiencing Gush Katif from close, the visitors had the opportunity to take home products from this beautiful area.
I'm selling strawberries that are grown in a special process without the use of pesticides. We're here with some of our flower pots that we usually export. We also want to give the people of Israel the opportunity to plant a tree in the land of Israel and to remember Gush Katif in their home.
Prime Minister Ariel Sharon recently announced that he's planning the eviction of most of the Jewish Gush Katif towns. Joined by members of the National Religious Party, the residents and visitors felt that participating in the Tu B'Shvat celebrations was the perfect response to Sharon's statements.
Nobody will enable him to imply his awful plans to dismantle Gush Katif, to dismantle our sense of life.
It feels great to see all these people who came to strengthen us. Thank God the people of Israel stand behind us.
We shall deepen the roots of the settlers here on their land. There will be more buildings and more children, and all the ideas to evacuate the people from here and to transfer them. We shall not be partners in this plan. We shall not allow to carry it out.
Do you think it will be possible that anything here will be given away at all?
It doesn't look possible because there's so many people and so many settlements that it seems like it'd be impossible to pull them all out.
I don't know what's possible, but I am absolutely devastated at the thought of evacuating anything here.
All these talks are, as it says, like the waves of the sea that break onto the shore. With God's help, none of it will happen.
This place will remain and will be developed, and there will be more people and more children, more life here for eternity.
The peak of the experience was to be involved in a natural development and expansion of Gush Katif through the planting of trees in the soil of the land of Israel. More than 3,000 trees were planted this year on Tu B'Shvat in Gush Katif. Gush Katif, the block of Jewish communities in the Gaza Strip, is in the headlines of most of our latest news programs. Shortly after the Torah Recycling Network matched a donated Torah scroll with the community of Eli, Moshe Bird, who heads this organization that finds and repairs old Torah scrolls for communities in need, told Mark Kaplan a secret. He said, "I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm determined to put a Sefer Torah into Gush Katif." This was around the time of the Gaza referendum. Well, Moshe Bird succeeded and found a Sefer Torah for the Gaza Strip beachfront community of Shirat Hayam. Mark Kaplan was there.
Prime Minister Sharon has vowed to end Jewish life in Gush Katif, but you would never know that by seeing what's going on here tonight. The community is celebrating what can only be called a new beginning of Jewish life.
You see people happy, you see people celebrate in the celebration of Sefer Torah. What else more you need? It's express our permanent message that at the end we shall overcome on this challenge that Sharon put in front of us. It expressed our faith, deep faith in the eternity of Israel. No one can overcome on the power of Sefer Torah, and anyone in the history who tried to fight in the power of Sefer Torah at the end fall.
The Torah scroll was brought here as part of the project of the Sefer Torah Recycling Network.
It's a little community. It needs to own its own Sefer Torah. It needs to be a Mokum Torah. To make this place a reality on the ground. Gush Katif is here to stay. Land of Israel, the people of Israel, Am Yisrael, for Arutz Yisrael, indivisible.
As we come here today full of happiness with this new Torah scroll in Shirat Hayam, we are sure that we will be able to pray here many prayers, year after year, and use the Torah scroll every week. We are sure that the Torah scroll has now reached its permanent destination.
Reporting from Shirat Hayam in Gush Katif, this is Mark Kaplan for Israel National TV.
On Sunday, the 25th of July, more than 130,000 people held hands and created a human chain in support of Gush Katif, the Jewish communities of the Gaza Strip. At 7 o'clock in the evening, Israel time, human chains were held not only in Israel. Shalom to Sid Singer in Wisconsin, USA.
Shalom.
Where are you talking to us from?
I'm in Camp Mosheva in Wild Rose, Wisconsin.
So I understand you held a human chain at your camp, thousands of miles away from the human chain from Gush Katif to Jerusalem.
We did have the human chain here on Sunday morning. Once our Israeli staff found out about the program taking place in Israel, they felt it was something important that they wanted to participate in here in Machaneh. Even though B'nai Akiva, the youth movement, were affiliated with Camp Mosheva, are by definition apolitical, because of the distance from Israel, they felt that we could participate in this program in a way that was just a general show of support for all of Medinat and Eretz Yisrael, and it was something that was very important to our staff and to our Chanichim to do.
How did the kids feel about this event? What did you hear from them?
I think what we heard from the kids for the most part was that they were sympathetic with the cause. I would say that most of our population probably is sympathetic with the feelings of the protesters, that they don't want to be, that they would not like to see Israel give up any particular piece of land. At the same time, though, I think they understand that as a camp here in America, that it would be inappropriate for us to suggest to the Israeli government what we feel that they should be doing, and that the main thing is that we just stand behind the Medina in general and the policies of the government, whatever they choose to decide.
So what happened there?
Well, everybody held hands for a few minutes, which in and of itself was a significant accomplishment for any camp to be able to pull that off. But afterwards, it was very meaningful program for the kids, and all of the kids participated, and I think found the experience very meaningful. And then when the official chain moment was over, the kids sort of broke out into some spontaneous dancing and singing and celebrations of Israel and waving Israeli flags. Even though it had to be a little bit toned down because of the 9 days, it was still something that I think was very meaningful to the kids.
Sid Singer, Camp Moshava Director, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
In the Agro Mashov Fair, one of the exhibits was put up by residents of Gush Katif, the block of Jewish communities in the Gaza Strip. Turns out that the Gush Katif residents are promoting their cause in many more ways than just demonstrations and Knesset debates.
We're here as part of the fair. We're presenting the products produced in Gush Katif. Half of the organic export of Israel comes from Gush Katif. We also explain about our struggle, to let as many people as possible know about our struggle.
At the end of today's program, we'll have pictures from yet another Sefer Torah dedication celebration that took place in Gush Katif, the Jewish block of communities in the Gaza Strip. But first, let's hear some words from a prominent official who joined the celebrations and expressed his support, the Chief Rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Yoni Kempinski.
I came here especially in these days to encourage from my heart. I came to give strength, but I find myself being strengthened. You're building and building, and thank God, today, the 18th family this year has come to Nitzarim. May the following verse that we sang before with the Torah be fulfilled. For God will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance.
And now we'll end with some pictures from the Torah celebration in Gush Katif. The celebration took place in the community of Netzarim, and it marked the inauguration of a new Torah ark and the dedication of a new Torah scroll in memory of Rabbi Ben Zion Freiman and of Minister Rechavam Ze'evi, who was murdered by terrorists a few years ago. One of the highlights of the celebration occurred when Chief Rabbi Yoni Kempinski called on the children of Netzarim to gather to be blessed by the rabbis and the crowd. This blessing expressed their prayer that the residents will continue to raise children and grandchildren in Gush Katif. In the background, we can now hear the song Uvduye Hashem from Beyond Eden's new album called On the D. Beyond Eden sing, and the redeemed of God shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. All we can add to this is Amen. Please join us again next week for another edition. Until then, from all of us here at Israel National News, Shalom.
share.